Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour. Brought to you by TJS Ceramic Studio, Posh Boutique in the Bridges at 57th, The Sky & Tea, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire arts and entertainment conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Our countdown continues to episode number 200, just 5 weeks away. Yes, that means this is 195, and there will be some surprises, yes, plural. Plus, the 4th anniversary is in October as well. We got a lot of stuff going on, including this one. Episode number 195. Today we hear from another Sioux Falls Arts Council Artist Micro Grant recipient, Kyrie Dunkley, who used her micro grant to purchase materials to decorate traditional Native American skirts and shirts. Then singer-songwriter Link West joins the show to talk about his shows that he likes to call New and Known. Later in the hour, from the Washington Pavilion, Katherine Hults. She's going to give us details on the Sidewalk Arts Festival that hits downtown next Saturday, September 9th. She doesn't know this fact, but she is the 300th individual guest on the Dave Holly Hour. I believe I owe her some merch. But first, let's pop the cork on this bubbly little show.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day in your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
No matter what you may be drinking, what you're drinking it out of might be dependent upon the time of day or what your situation is as to what you're drinking. Regardless, hoist 'em high. And this Weekend Eve toast goes out to all of you for your support. This show has now been downloaded more than 15,000 times. Okay, that's not a huge number in terms of what national advertisers look at. I will doubtfully ever have one of them. But that's not the point of this show. I know that I have a niche market by focusing on arts and entertainment in and around a Midwest city. Still, that number represents at least 15,000 times promoting the arts. And to that, I toast to you with my traditional Jack Daniels Diet Coke with a lime, better known as a Jasper Newton. The Weekend Eve toast has been brought to you by The Sky & Tea. The Sky provides all caps fun. That is best had with friends. Have fun playing darts or shooting pool. Have fun listening to great live music from local musicians. Or have fun singing at karaoke. Hey, you need some extra room to hold a company party or a benefit? The Sky's back room fits the bill. No matter what's going on at The Sky, it's local and it's lively. Honorable mention. All right, so what put a smile on Dave's face in the past week? Have to give it out. Congratulations to the Sioux Falls Arts Council for putting on an absolutely incredible double feature Tuesday evening with their celebration of creativity. Had a world premiere of the short documentary called Elevate, which is about the diversity and inclusions of people of color in the Sioux Empire in the arts community. It featured 4 local artists, including Kyrie Dunkley, whom you're going to hear from in just a moment. And this film is incredible. Then there was a panel discussion that followed, some great questions. Then it was on to the Sioux Falls Arts Awards. Awards in the Arts, I believe, is the actual title. My good friend Simon Floss made a great MC. There were some great guest speakers and a rousing musical duet that brought down the house by Clinton Storr and Etta McKinley. It was a wow moment, and the whole evening was just great. There was plenty of applause for the awards recipients, including some podcaster that talks to you on a weekly basis, of which I'm very humbled. Later on, we hear from Katherine Hults about the annual Sidewalk Arts Festival. Singer-songwriter Link West is around the corner. But up next, micro-grant recipient Kyrie Dunkley on the Dave Holly Hour.
Are you an artist? Need some funding to further your art? There's a great opportunity for you through a Sioux Falls Arts Council program. The Artist Microgrant program gives away several microgrants to local artists, no matter what art discipline you're in. Unlike more traditional grants, a microgrant is very easy to apply for. Go to artssiouxfalls.org. If you haven't done so yet, create a listing on the Artist Directory, which is beneficial in its own way. Then go to the Artist Microgrants page and apply online. The process is simple. Find out more about the Sioux Falls Arts Council as well online at artssiouxfalls.org.
Welcome back, everyone. Last week we started a new segment that we're going to be doing each and every week here on the Dave Holly Hour to feature someone that has been a recipient of a microgrant from Sioux Falls Arts Council. And today we're joined by Kyrie Dunkley. How are you doing?
Okay, thank you for asking.
Glad to have you along. Now, you did a specific thing with your grant money, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and tell us about that project then.
I was on the Sioux Falls School District Indian Ed Parent Committee, and I just finished a sewing workshop at Joe Foss with Dawn Marie Joe Johnson when she was out there. The sewing workshop did really well, and I got a lot of feedback that there were more students, more seniors that were wanting ribbon skirts and ribbon shirts, and it was just something I didn't have the means to do.
Right.
And we were planning the honoring celebration in May, and it was right around the corner. So when I applied for that micro grant, I used the funds for the seniors that wanted a ribbon skirt, a ribbon shirt.
Tell us about those. How do you go about constructing them?
Well, for the ribbon skirts, it takes approximately 2 to 2.5 yards of fabric, including ribbon in each color that they wanted. I gave them the opportunity to design their own ribbon skirts.
Oh, fantastic.
And their own ribbon shirts. And I just went and got the materials for it, and I put them together. For the ribbon shirts, I just bought regular button-up shirts, and I used applique to apply the designs that they wanted.
All right. So how long would each of those take then?
It can take anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. And then, if I'm stopping in between multiple breaks, it can take longer.
Yeah. What do you enjoy about doing that, though?
What I like is being able to mix and match and using different threads and different colors. I like different textiles, especially anything that's shiny. I like to include gold and silver in any of my designs.
Were there any designs that you went, whoa, this is really awesome?
One in particular was one of the seniors. He designed a ribbon shirt, and he drew a picture of a cherry blossom. And I wanted to make sure that that design was specific to what he drew. So I just blew up that picture on my TV, and then I traced it and outlined it, and then I turned it into applique, so it was an exact replica of what he actually drew. The story behind that cherry blossom was that his sister passed away, and he wanted to wear that shirt in memory of her, and cherry blossoms were her favorite.
Yeah, and this is a great way that someone can be very personal then.
Yes.
When it comes to their graduation.
Yes.
And do you continue to do that then?
Yes, I do make ribbon skirts and ribbon shirts. I do have a couple, I believe, down at Sweetgrass Soapery still. I just recently organized a fashion show downtown at the Levitt, which took place during the Indigenous Music Festival, all my relatives. And that was July 8th.
And obviously it's passion for you, but it's also a great thing for everybody else. What got you into doing this to begin with?
My son. I was pregnant, and according to customs that I grew up around, we make star quilts and baby moccasins, and then if you're taking them to powwows, you create their regalias for them. So I remember going to Palos when I was a lot younger. I didn't exactly pick up a sewing machine until I got pregnant, but I watched my aunties do it and put it together. So I kind of just had that motivation and determination to just figure it out and get it done.
It's a wonderful program, the micro grants, and it's always great to hear what people are using them for. So, Kyrie Dunkley, we certainly appreciate what you have put yours toward. How do you see this program going in the future for other people?
I really like the process, that it was so simplified, and there weren't a whole lot of hoops to jump through, and I just really appreciated that they believed in giving me money and saying, here, do what you want with it. And because I really wanted to, because I really love my craft, that's what it went right back into.
It obviously made that happen a little easier then.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with more in just a moment.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls, conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics. We have thousands of classic vintage ceramic mold items and several new items too. TJS Ceramics offers classes through the Sioux Falls Community Education Program and special open studio nights every Thursday evening. Bisques, studio time, or finished custom items are available. Visit TJS Ceramics Studio in Sioux Falls today.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XO Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or xochiros.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XO Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
The Dave Holly Hour, like eavesdropping on a great conversation between two very interesting people.
Welcome back, everybody. You know that standard intro. You really should have it next to you when you're listening to this podcast, just so you can say it along and say, it's always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire, arts, and entertainment. And it's always a pleasure to have a new guest on as well. And that is our case today. Link West, how are you?
I am fantastic. It is great to be here.
And you look fantastic, too.
Thank you.
And there was a part of this summer we might not have said that, especially with your smile.
Yeah.
You broke some teeth.
Yeah, I had to take a few weeks off from the gigs.
Yeah.
And I am definitely a show must go on kind of guy.
Right.
Absolutely, like the post office, right? Regardless of the weather, I'm out there doing the thing. Yeah, I've played 100 degrees. I've played in the rain.
A lot of people this year played at 100 degrees, didn't
yes,
they?
Yep, yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. But what happened? What took place?
Yeah. Well, I was biking back home from a concert downtown, which I love doing in the summers here.
Yeah.
And coming back from the band Night Moves from Minneapolis was playing a show. Heading back home, going across the bridge on Cliff Avenue down by Lincoln High School across the river. And I don't know what distracted me, but my handlebars just barely clipped the edge of the bridge, which flipped the front wheel right into it. And my face went right into a post.
Oh, my.
It basically took out 2 teeth, and I got stitches on my nose, and I got stitches inside my mouth on my lips. And it was, I went to the ER that night. But,
Whoo!
Yeah,
but like
crazy
you said,
day, crazy day.
Yeah. But the show must go on, and within 2 weeks you were back at it?
Yeah, I did one show before my dentist could replace the holes in my mouth with some fillings to get me through, and that was a weird show. My vocals were a little weird, but my harmonica playing was fine. So I was like...
vocals being a little weird in what way? Were you whistle while you work?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing was actually air support.
I suppose.
It's hard to keep a note going. All the air would just go right through the holes in my teeth.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So those beautiful high notes I just love to sing, they just fell flat. But did some extended harmonica solos, and it was just fine.
All right.
It worked out.
Okay.
Yep.
And you know what? If I say the wrong name throughout the course of this conversation, forgive me. Because it is actually one of your social media names, Link West Rocks.
I always think that Link West Rocks, and I think West Rocks would be a great band name.
That would be a good band name.
Yeah. You'll have to keep that in the back of your mind if you ever play with others.
I will for sure. Yeah.
What makes you exciting as a solo performance? What is it about your act that people want to come see?
Yeah. Well, I like to do a variety of things.
Mm-hmm.
I write songs, but most of the gigs I get are cover heavy.
Right.
For sure. That's the thing. And I like to mix it up. It's I like pretty much all music.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt me if people want to hear a country song. If people want to hear Johnny Cash, absolutely, I'll do Johnny Cash. I love to do 80s one-hit wonders.
Oh, songs classics.
Like Melt With You.
Yeah.
Modern English.
Yep.
Under the Milky Way by The Church. There's a lot of those sort of new wavy one-hit wonder 80s tunes that I grew up on. I love the Cars and all that kind of stuff. Usually they don't. You don't hear them on acoustic guitar very often. But I do my own style. Kind of find my own timing on them.
Right.
My own way of kind of putting it together. And I like to do songs that are slightly obscure. But when people do know the song, they really light up. Like, oh, I know that one. So
that's a great point. Yeah, somebody goes up and requests something very strange. Are you one of those that you do know it typically, or are you one of those that goes, give me a moment, let me think about it?
Right. Well, I always say I take requests, but I probably don't know the song. However, I probably know something kind of like it. So I can usually give them something they want to hear.
What's most requested of you? Do you have a go-to that people know? Link West is great playing this tune.
Well, the Johnny Cash is always an easy one. That's for sure. So that's a good one. I get a lot of requests for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Things like that, So I've picked up a few songs. Taking It Easy is a pretty good one. I find if I do take it really easy, works out pretty well. Because I'm a pretty laid back guy. And most of the gigs I do, it's 2 to 3 hours, often in the sunshine. So you need to kind of pace yourself to get through that. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Oh, that's for sure.
Those kinds of things.
And especially, this year, there's been so much of that too, that, people are getting a lot of the sidewalk gigs. They're getting a lot of the, playing at the different breweries and so forth. What's your favorite venue?
Well, I tell you, one of the places that's been great is the Brandon Farmers Market. They've got a little farmers market out there, started a couple years ago, and it's just a nice place to be. Everyone's just super friendly down there. Another place is Ben's Brew Station down in Yankton. I like getting down there.
I have not been to that yet, but I keep being told by a coworker that it's a great place.
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely
put
is.
that on the
exactly.
Not necessarily bucket list, but at least get down there sometime, right? What's your favorite song to go to when you're playing?
It really depends on what I'm feeling in the moment. Let's see here. Favorite songs for me, there's a Jackson Browne tune I love a lot.
Which one?
It's called These Days.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know it. Apparently he wrote that when he was like 13 years old, which is insane. And I had no idea it was a Jackson Browne song. I thought it was a Nico song. If you know Nico from the Velvet Underground posse. She sang with them for a bit. She has a cover of it that ends up on a lot of like indie movie soundtracks. It's really sort of, ethereal and smoky, which suits her style for sure. And then I found out that Jackson Browne actually wrote it, and I looked up his version of it. Yeah, that's just a great song.
That it is, no doubt about it. And I've been a huge Jackson Browne fan for, probably since I was about 13.
Okay, sure.
I've often said, I want at my funeral the last song to be Running on Empty.
Okay.
Oh, the tank finally.
There we go. We got it. Got every last drop out of that tank. But here we are.
Yeah. What got you into music?
Here we are. When I was a kid, I just always played saxophone in the school band, that kind of stuff. So music was always around. But the moment that did it for me, I was in the 7th grade, and my dad heard me listening to the radio. And the Bangles had a cover of Hazy Shade of Winter at the time, which was a big hit for them. And I liked that song a lot. It was popular. And my dad heard it and said, that's a Simon and Garfunkel song.
Yep.
And I had no idea who he was talking about.
Right.
What are you talking about? But he went through his old vinyl record collection that was collecting dust, and he pulled out Bookends by Simon and Garfunkel, and he showed it to me.
Did he play it at that point then, too?
No, he was, I think he was between things.
Okay,
he was just going to point me in the right direction and see where I went from there. But I pulled it out, and my mind was blown that this song was actually, 30-some years older, or probably 20-some. And then I started reading the lyrics on the back of the album. The old vinyl records, all the lyrics were there. Yeah, exactly. I started reading the lyrics, and as a 7th grader, my mind was blown that music could actually mean something.
Not just, hey, it's got a good rhythm, you can dance to it,
Yeah,
I'll give it a 96.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I love listening to the radio as a kid, like any kid does, and sitting along with the radio, all that kind of stuff. But, when you're hitting those early pubescent years, all of a sudden these are songs about love and loss, and there's a song on there about teenage suicide. And just, Mrs. Robinson's on there.
Yeah.
All these heavy-hitting songs.
Classic stuff.
Yeah, and the lyrics were fantastic.
So by going through that process, such as that, do you find yourself now doing that even more? Mm-hmm. Like you want to find something that just was so good lyrically, not just musically?
Exactly. Yeah. And I have pretty high standards for lyrics, which gets in the way. I'm always trying to write songs, but I'm always looking at my own work and comparing it to somebody else. And, like a guy I love, current guy, Jason Isbell. Mm-hmm. If you're familiar with him, I love his stuff. And there are a handful of Jason Isbell songs I've learned that I love to do when I'm performing. Problem is, his songs are kind of sad.
Yeah.
Even the ones that seem kind of happy have a twist to them, It's more about the loss than the love. And so it's kind of hard to squeeze those into a set when you're trying to entertain people.
Exactly. When people are coming out and thinking, more of, like you mentioned, the Eagles and probably, a few, like Johnny Cash you also mentioned. But, for me, it'd be Marshall Tucker Band or somebody along that line. Yeah. You hear something like that, it's like, okay.
Like, wait a minute. Yeah. Buzzkill.
Yeah. Give me another double Jack Daniels.
Right. I'm crying over here.
All right. So saxophone you started with.
Yeah.
When did the guitar come along then?
And then guitar came along when I was probably about 16. Because I wanted to sing.
Yeah. And
you just can't sing with the saxophone in your mouth.
Good point.
It just doesn't work, right? So I wanted to sing. And I found Back to Simon and Garfunkel and that kind of stuff. I found some music books at the local record store that had the chord charts and everything. And I went through them and tried to squeeze my fingers on the frets in the right places on this old acoustic guitar that my dad had in the closet since he was in college, with the strings were an inch off the frets. And it was very painful, but I just kind of, kept with it.
Yeah. So at what point did you find out about electricity then?
Yeah, electricity. I toyed with that in college a little bit. Mm-hmm. Bought an electric guitar off my buddy's roommate, who decided he was done being goth and was going to play basketball. So this guy got a haircut, totally changed his look, changed his friend group, and sold me his guitar for like $100 with a little practice amp and everything. So started playing there, and then had a band through my 20s. I used to live in Columbus, Ohio, and had a band called the Secret Sound of the NSA.
Hey.
And we were kind of a Clash meets the Cars kind of a thing, and we took that very seriously. Recorded a few CDs. And we harassed everybody we knew with any connection in the music industry, but it's a 1 in a million shot, but we tried.
as we're talking about, you like to write, and you have new songs of your own, but we'll play all of the any request basically that somebody comes up.
Sure.
With.
Yeah. Well, my only rule is that I have to like the song. If I like the song, I'll do it. But fortunately, I like a lot of songs.
Yeah. Well, because like you said earlier, you like good music.
Exactly. Yeah.
I guess one of the things that I love on your social media is what it says. Is it says new and known.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a great tagline.
Thank you.
Yeah, so keep using that.
Yeah, okay, I will.
What's the dream for Link West when it comes to music?
Yeah. Well, I'm not getting any younger. I'm a man of a certain age, as based on what I've talked about. Let's see, you can do the math. The Bangles had that hit in 1987.
Yeah.
And so I was in the 7th grade in 1987.
Okay.
So you can do the math on that. Yeah.
Well, because I was in 7th grade in the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are good times.
Oh, they were. I actually one day wore Coca-Cola pants.
Woo!
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, they were red squares and white squares. And,
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was been awesome.
Yeah, that was. It's back when Coca-Cola was good, too.
Right. Yeah, before New Coke.
Yeah,
right.
And everything else that came along. So what do you like to write about with your stuff?
Yeah, personal experience.
Yeah.
Basically. I like to write in general. So, I blog a lot. I write for Sodak Music Mag. It's a local website that I know you're familiar with.
Very familiar with.
Some
in
stuff
fact,
for that.
The 200th episode of this show coming up soon, and, well, somebody you might know from there is going to be a guest host.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I love writing. I've written some stuff on Sioux Falls history for some things around town, and I like to do creative writing as well. I like to write in general. The thing I was trying to figure out in songs, people do assume it's about you, even if you're writing a character.
That's a great point. I never thought of that, really.
So it's kind of tricky.
But you're correct.
Yeah. So I'm never quite sure just how much to put into character and how much to put to give of myself in the lyrics. And then I'm rather picky. I mean, things have to rhyme. Things have to line up. I want the beats. I want the words to actually fall on the beats. I want the strong words at the end of the phrase, with the punch. Which is just basic writing 101 in general. So, but I overthink it.
You a writer first and then add the music?
Or
do you occasionally get a tune stuck in your head and go, I got to lay that down and then come up with the words?
Usually I have an idea. I'll have an idea. It'll be like a little snippet. It'll be a phrase, maybe like half a chorus. And then I ask myself, what do I do with this? How do I fill it out? How do I add some verses to this? Where do I go with this? That kind of a thing.
You've talked a lot about the people that you got influenced by via your father in many ways.
True.
Hey, this was a so and so.
Yeah.
But who do you admire when it comes to songwriting?
Yeah, well, Jason Isbell is way up there. It's kind of funny. I did not like country as a kid. One of those guys that said I like everything except for country and hip hop.
Yeah,
that was kind of a standard response for a indie rock, alt rock, college rock kind of kid like I was. But when it comes to great songwriting, the country guys tend to have it.
The storytelling.
Yeah.
We go out and karaoke. Well, I shouldn't say we. I go out and karaoke. Okay. My wife karaoke's.
Okay.
Sits there in the chair
back
and sings
enjoys.
along. Yeah.
Right.
But she always has asked me, she says, I'm surprised you don't like more country songs because you love stories.
Right.
And I find it true. And then, there's some that I love from country that I actually go to. But now as I think of that, it's like, and then I'll hear, an old song from the 60s or 70s from country.
Yeah.
And go, yeah, I should really do that one, shouldn't I?
Yeah, that's a good one. Exactly, yeah. Sturgill Simpson is another guy these days that I like a lot. He's a great writer as well. He has a really thick Kentucky accent, which I find charming. Living in Columbus, Ohio, Columbus is right on the crossroads of a couple of different cultural zones. So if you're north of Columbus, you get into basically Rust Belt kind of stuff, which is just in the shadow of the East Coast, really out there. If you get south of Columbus, you're getting towards Kentucky really fast. So that I had so many friends there that had that sort of thick Kentucky accent like that. And so I love his stuff. It reminds me of that. So he's great. Country songs. I saw it was actually a marching band show that was set to Jolene by Dolly Parton. My kid did the color guard with the marching band and got me into all this stuff. So you never know what you're going to get into in life. You just got to keep your eyes and your heart open. See what comes. But anyway, they did a show. The first half was Jolene, classic Dolly Parton song.
Right.
And the second half was a song written, I think, in the 80s as a response to Jolene called Diane. And Diane was from the other woman's point of view. And so it's like, hey, Jolene, I had no idea that was your man. I didn't see the ring on his hand.
Yeah.
All that stuff, right? And it just made me tear up. just the storytelling was so great. You got both women's points of view back and forth over this no good guy, and so that kind of stuff. A good country song can make you tear up pretty fast.
That's for sure. And one of my favorites was Glenn Campbell.
Oh,
but,
sure.
He wasn't the writer.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was fortunate enough. I got to interview him live one time.
Okay.
And first thing out of my question is, what makes for a great hit? He says, good songwriter, and I've got the best, Jimmy Webb. And he did. And then even more.
Wichita Lineman, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. In fact, that's one of the lines I love.
That was one of his. Was Jimmy Webb?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yep. And I love to repeat that one quite often to my love and just say, I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Just words like that. Or, by the time I get to Phoenix, she'll be rising.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Great stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, and
so
you're
good.
right.
Right.
It is one of those because I was more of an instrumentalist. Mm-hmm. I really loved the music part, and I was in band since 5th grade on, but I didn't take up chorus until I was a senior then, and that was more just so because I knew I was going into radio and wanted to get some voice control, things like that. But so I was always a jazz type person, and then things just started to fall into place where it's like, that song that I've been listening to by Styx for 4 years now, I see what they meant.
Yep.
And the life experiences come along, and like you said, you like to write about your life experiences. And is there going to be one called "I Chipped My Tooth on Cliff"?
Yeah, that could be some fertile soil. Yeah. The thing is, when I got home finally back from the ER, I thought, well, I'm going to make sure I learned that lesson. And then I realized I had no idea what the lesson was. Besides maybe pay attention. I don't know.
I'm hearing a song in that.
There you go.
Tried to learn my lesson, but I didn't know what the lesson was.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I got to write that down.
Yeah, you better.
I got to steal that.
Yeah, I got a pen and some paper over here. You can go to it, my friend.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah.
Right. That's very cool. What song do you have in the works right now that you're working on for something new?
Yeah. The one song I want to record right now, it's called Mexico. And it's basically a response to Margaritaville. Yeah. I've always thought it'd be fun to be one of those guys that makes good money actually playing covers somewhere on the beach, right?
Yep.
And for a while, I lived down in Hilton Head, South Carolina, which is a big vacation area. Just
huge.
Working as a waiter down there after college. And I always thought, I should learn Brown Eyed Girl and Margaritaville and do that instead of waiting tables. Never got around to it because I was too busy having fun. But then I learned Margaritaville for the gigs I do now because a buddy of mine, that's his favorite song, and he likes to show up at the gigs, and he always asked for it.
Right.
So eventually, okay, I got to learn Margaritaville. So I did, and then I realized it's not really a happy song.
No.
I thought it was a happy song until I actually checked out the lyrics.
It's a great sing-along song.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is. But the whole, wasting away. Right. And so the song Mexico, it's about a guy later in life being down on his luck, thinks maybe I'll go to Mexico, find a place in the sun where all the tourists go, make some new friends, find a seaside bar, get paid in Coronas for playing my guitar.
Oh.
Yeah. And then, 3 sets a night, making everybody feel all right about wasting away and brown-eyed girls. And then the last tag is, and then I'll forget all of my regrets about wasting away and brown-eyed girls. Whew. So trying to pull in a little music history.
I love it.
That kind of thing.
All right.
So,
what do you have out there that's available for people right now?
Yeah. Honestly, not much original stuff.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get that down, some recordings. I do a lot of home recording, which I love doing.
Yeah.
I record a lot of covers just for fun. So I'm trying to figure out, do I go to the studio and get the stuff down or not? So so not much original stuff out there right now.
Okay.
Unfortunately, just mostly just covers at the moment.
Well, I'm loving your Mexico song already.
Thank you.
I think it's got a lot of legs.
Yeah. Oh, the nice thing about that one,
to go along with the Brown Eyes Girls.
Yeah. Those are good too. Yeah, I've got one too. The best decision of my life was to marry up and marry a brown-eyed girl. So it worked out well for me.
Well done.
No
well
regrets
done.
there, for sure.
What do you have coming up that people could catch you at?
Yeah, well, if you're going to be up in Huron at the State Fair here on Thursday.
Okay.
I'll be up there doing 3 shows. Be at one of the side stages, noon, 2:30, and 7, I believe.
Okay.
So yeah, be up there for the day. So if you're up at the state fair checking out the prize-winning pigs and all that kind of stuff, having some funnel cakes, stop by and say hi. Be great to see you. So that'd be a good day. Going to be out at the Brandon Farmers Market again that weekend, doing a town fest in, I'm not sure I'm saying this right, Hawarden, Iowa.
Hawarden, Iowa.
Yeah. They have a little town fest on Sunday night. Be doing that one on Sunday. Then out of Granite City on their patio in about a week after that. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Lots of chances.
Yeah. Should be a good summer.
And all around, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last time I heard Hawarden.
Yeah, exactly. Sir.
Where am I?
Right. Lights out. Right.
All right. Always like to end with 2 questions. Sometimes the answer to the first means we don't have to answer the second one. When you're not part of the arts and entertainment scene, what do you like to be entertained by?
Oh, that is a great question. I like to get out and see as much music as I can around town. And that could be anything. We have a great symphony here.
Oh, yeah, amazing, aren't they?
Yeah. I've made friends with some of the players in that, and the level of talent we have in this town is fantastic. So usually get out to a few of their shows every season. I've got buddies that do what I do in town, and I'm sure plenty of people you've had on here. Yeah. I'd love to go see what they're doing, just have a beer or two and stop in just to say hi. So that's good too. I just like seeing the people. Frankly, even if I'm not that interested in the music. I was down at the That Sounds Decent festival last weekend, 8th and Railroad. And just for the people watching, really.
Didn't get a chance to get to it this year.
It was free.
It's just a great thing that goes on. Yeah. All right. So the follow-up question then is any other hobbies?
Any other hobbies? Let's see here. Yeah, well, honestly, between trying to write what I wish to write and trying to learn the songs I wish to learn, I have so much going on.
Right. Little time.
Yeah, and a lot of people would consider those hobbies, but to me, they're serious. So, yeah, a friend of mine once said that if you're a serious man, you don't have any hobbies. Because you take your interests seriously.
Yes, so, I love that.
Yeah, he was kind of a hard ass, if I can say that on air here.
So, you may.
Yeah. So take it with a grain of salt. I think it's great. I love gardening. I grow tons of tomatoes and hot peppers, and right now they're just all over the place. They've exploded late summer.
Yeah. Do you do cilantro?
I do.
Excellent.
Yeah, cilantro is tricky though because it really, I guess, it bolts. Goes to flowers pretty quickly, especially when it gets hot out. So the cilantro comes in the spring very nicely, but the tomatoes and peppers aren't ready for the sauces and things until later. By that time, the cilantro's gone to seed. Yeah. So sometimes I'll plant some more, try to keep it shaded and watered so it grows. But so you got to kind of balance those things out. But I like biking a lot too.
Oh,
yeah.
See, you got plenty going.
I guess I do. I guess I'm not a serious man. I have too many hobbies.
Oh, yes, you are.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, you're serious about your hobbies, too. There we go. All right, Link West, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. And best of wishes to down the road for you. I feel good things coming on.
Thank you so much. It's been great being here.
Thank you. And we'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Comedy magician and hypnotist Jesse Moffat's right. He can't play the piano, but he can sure entertain crowds with his amazing magic and clever quips. His shows always make the participants the stars, especially when they've fallen asleep on stage. They've been hypnotized. Are you the party planner in your group? Then you owe it to your group to make the event magical, even if it puts you to sleep. Here's how.
For booking information, go to Jesse Moffitt Entertainment on Facebook. That's JESSEMOFFITT. Or call 605-929-0964.
Follow the Dave Holly Hour on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back, everybody. Gotta say it. It's always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment and another first-time guest. And the great thing is we get to talk about an event coming up next weekend that will be incredible for the city of Sioux Falls. Ever since they started it, it certainly has been. And we're up to about the umpteenth year of it for sure. Katherine Hults from the Washington Pavilion. How are you?
I'm good, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Oh, great to have you on here. And you are one of the people that's helping put together the Sidewalk Arts Festival that comes up next Saturday.
Yeah.
What are we going to have this year?
So this year is the 60th annual. So we've been doing this for a very long time.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
This is my third year being in charge of the vendors.
Okay.
And I will say it's the most we've had since I've been in charge.
Okay.
Huge footprint. We've got about 275 vendors this year. I think we had about 230 last year. So we've grown quite a bit. The last few years with, the pandemic and everything, we kind of dwindled. I think we're back and people are ready to go.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's really
fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah.
We've
And
had huge numbers, a lot of interest. I'm still getting people asking if they can be part of it. So
and can they?
No, not at this point.
You had to have a point
done.
where you said,
I am basically at capacity.
Yeah.
So
well, does that mean with 45 extra vendors this year that did you have to move things a little bit as well?
So we've had a map with an extension for the last several years. We haven't had to use it. So we had a big extension of booths that we could easily expand into, and this year we needed them. So, but the last couple of years I've just had to cut them off the map and just pretend they don't exist, which is fine. But it's nice to have that space to expand. If we get even bigger next year, we're already talking like, where do we go? What do we do? So it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, and if you grew that much this year, it wouldn't be too difficult to top 300, would it?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. It is such a huge event, and it's a fun event. And not only is it great that you can see a whole bunch of art, but there's so many different types of booths. Of art, visual arts, and so forth, but there's also entertainment throughout the day. So what's cooking this year that maybe we haven't seen in the past or haven't heard in the past?
So the biggest addition this year, we have added a beer garden in our sculpture garden, which is where the entertainment has usually been. That's where the entertainment is again. So starting at 10 a.m. and going till 3:45, we've got entertainment running in 45-minute increments. But there will also be beer available for purchase. Obviously, wristbands for anyone 21 plus.
Yeah.
So come on in, and it's it'll be a great way. It's tented, so if it's super hot that day, it'll be a nice place to cool off. Maybe take a break from shopping, sit.
Kind of in the old,
just enjoy
true traditional beer tent type of way.
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
That's great.
And then in the entertainment, we've got so we have our new live and local series, and some of the people in the entertainment were actually pulled from those live and local applications. So
very good.
They have 9 months worth of those shows. They got to sneak in a couple extra people that maybe didn't get put on those Thursday shows. They get to perform at Sidewalk Arts Festival.
Yeah.
So
that in and of itself is also a cool thing that's going on too.
Yeah, absolutely.
What makes the pavilion a great place for you to work at?
Oh my gosh,
when
there's
it comes
just
to putting together something
there's
like
so
this.
many things. There's something different every day. I walked out of the building and walked through preschool run time because it's that time of day. Preschoolers need a break, so they're running around on the third floor lobby, and there's just so much joy, and it's just fun.
Yeah. Now, what is it about the art world that you like personally? What is it that attracted you to work at a place like this? Then?
I grew up with kind of in and around. I started theater when I was 7 years old. So obviously that. I went to art camps when I was little. My mom runs a science center, so that's a perfect fit. Just all of the pieces of the pavilion just kind of speak
those
to
three
a little,
pillars.
little
I think
piece
you hit
of my
all
soul.
of them,
So
you?
it's a really great place for me especially to be. But I mean, and the people who work there are wonderful as well. So
I've known you for a few years, but I did not know anything about this theater thing.
Yeah.
And are there times where you're going to be in the future maybe doing something along that line yet?
So I'm not really much in performance anymore. I kind of stepped back from that in college.
A child,
But I did, I still do costuming from time to time. So that's kind of where I pivoted in college, and now I do costume design. So I did, I worked on Salem last fall.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
God, that was a great show,
that
too.
Was great. So hopefully something,
no doubt.
Something again in the future.
Yeah. And in fact, weren't you nominated?
Yes.
Yes, this year for a Sioux Falls Stage Award for that. Yeah. And then your husband, of course, wins one.
Of course.
Yeah. So in terms of the arts, I think one of the beauties of this show, Sidewalk Arts Festival, and I'm going to call it a show, not just a festival, because it's a way to show off everything.
Absolutely.
Is that there are people that maybe aren't as solid about what they know about the arts. Mm-hmm. And they can go to this show and they can see all this different stuff that is there and go, there's more to art than I thought, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And is it stunning every year, some of the feedback that you get from somebody like that then?
I can't say that I hear a lot from the customers just because it's such a whirlwind day.
Right.
That I don't really get to talk to anybody but the vendors, but all of the vendors have a great time. And they get new customers every year. They have returning customers every year. So, and we've got vendors who have been coming back for decades. So
I know.
It just speaks really well to
I think I've seen
this
them
program that we've built.
I think I've seen some of them every year for those decades too.
Yep.
So fine by me, though.
Absolutely.
And what is it that draws them to this show then?
We hear a lot about this is one of the best run festivals, and we've certainly got a great team put together that keep it running every year. For a long time, it was one person, and when she stepped away from the pavilion, we kind of had to figure out, okay, maybe one person shouldn't have their hands on every single piece of this, because then what happens? So we kind of divvied it out. So I handle most of the vendor communications and logistics, that kind of stuff. Getting together all the applications and that kind of stuff, handling the jury, because we do go through a jury process. Yeah. Everyone who applies has to be accepted by the jury. But we've got somebody else handling the logistics, someone else doing the entertainment, beer garden. Just all the things are kind of handled by different people, but we all come together and work together. So,
speaking of the logistics, what are the boundaries, let's say, of this show from street to street and so forth?
I should have brought a map because it's huge. But so it's basically the streets surrounding the Washington Pavilion. So obviously Dakota, 11th, Main, and then the parking lots in and behind, kind of by the Cinedome planetarium area. And then we branch out. So we go up Main a little bit, kind of towards Arc Inc. We go the other direction all the way down basically to 10th.
Okay.
And then on Dakota, I'm just trying to figure out how to explain this. We go past MB on the one side and then all the way up.
That's right.
Kind of past almost to the parking lot entrance for that Nordic Hall lot. And then, let's see, on 11th, it goes all the way up to Minnesota and down to Maine.
Yeah, and I love this because it's one of those that you get out there and you start walking around. It's like, well, where do I want to go first? And will there be some pamphlets, etc., available that will list all of the vendors, what their spot is?
We will have some printed maps available. We have kind of shifted more to a digital map.
Just like a QR code
save
thing?
A lot of paper. We'll have QR codes everywhere. There's going to be one on every single booth.
Oh, fantastic.
Booth vendor's sign that you can scan. There'll be signs around where you can scan that map and pull it up. There will be a list of vendors and where they are, too. So if you're looking for somebody specific, you can find exactly where they are.
Or if you're looking for future guests on the podcast,
there you go.
That's the day to collect a ton of business cards.
Yes, I'm sure.
Well, and like I made that point earlier about, the different types of art. That's one of the things that I love about it personally, is the fact that, I'm still looking for somebody that does pottery. I've got to get a potter on here. I've got to get someone.
I've got lots.
Yeah. and that's the thing about it. It's like there's so many to choose from.
Yes.
And so I come home with these stacks of business cards and try to remember every one of them.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I need to start writing down notes on those.
Yeah.
Or no. I need to start putting those notes into my phone so I can read them later.
Yes.
Just in case I go to the beer garden.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think that's a great decision because, there are, first of all, if it's even slightly warm, you're going to get a workout going up and down some of those streets.
Yes.
You're going to get a workout dodging the other pedestrian traffic.
Yep.
Throughout that time period.
It's a busy
So,
day.
give yourself a little break, stay hydrated, etc. Although, they probably want you to drink more water, but
I mean, we have water available as well. Water, soda, all that good stuff available.
Sit
also.
down, have whatever you need.
Yes.
To make to quench your thirst.
Yes.
We'll put it that way. What is it that makes for a great show like this? You talked about one person couldn't handle it anymore. And so you've divvied things up, but what else goes into that in terms of the thoughts of how are we going to make it better again next year then?
I would say the variety is probably the biggest piece that really matters, is that, we don't just have a street of jewelry vendors. We don't have a street of painters. So if you looked at my map of how I assign them, which I adopted from the previous person, I look like a crazy person because it is color coded and there's shapes and colors and it's bonkers. But we try and space people out and give them all a chance because most people don't walk the whole festival.
True.
It's insane. Yeah. I don't even know how far it is to walk the whole thing, which I do probably 5 times that day.
Oh my.
But it's, that way, if you only hit one block, you're going to see a lot of variety. You're going to see a jewelry vendor next to a painter, next to a potter, next to someone who makes kettle corn or home decor or candles or lotions or photography. Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff. And we try and give every vendor a good chance of getting an audience. So you're not competing against every single person that makes something similar to what you do. And you're not like, well, I only can buy one pair of earrings today and they're all here, so I'm going to buy this one. Like, you maybe buy that one and then you go 3 blocks down and you're like, oh, I really like those ones too, so I'm going to get those too. So I think it just helps everybody. It helps the vendors. It helps the patrons. So you get a little bit of that variety when you come down.
Give us a little history on this because, it's been around 60 years, but the pavilion hasn't been around 60 years.
We have not.
Yeah. And so how did it all start and how did the pavilion get involved to make it what we know it as today?
So as far as I know, I'm not completely up on the history of like the whole thing, but I believe it started as a Civic Fine Arts Center fundraiser. And when the pavilion became the pavilion, the Civic Fine Arts Center became the Visual Arts Center inside the pavilion. And so their fundraisers, they just kind of passed over to us. And for a while, it was a Visual Arts Center fundraiser. And over the years, it's kind of just become a Washington Pavilion fundraiser. Yeah. It funds all of the programs throughout the year. And it's great.
Well, tell us about the programs that there are then. Because there are so many.
Yeah. So I
not expecting you to go down a whole list of them. But...
So I mentioned our preschool kids. We've got a preschool, the Graham Academy preschool. We just started all day preschool this year. Wow. So we've got kids in the building, different classes, but some of them are all day, every day, from like 9 to 4. And they're getting ready for kindergarten. So learning all the things with what the pavilion has to offer. So they get to go to the Science Center, they get to go to the Art Museum and do all of those cool things. And that's their school. How cool is that? We've also got the Dakota Academy of Performing Arts, which is our youth theater program. So they put on productions every year. We do camps and classes where kids can learn how to audition and how to sing better and like all that cool stuff. And we obviously have the Science Center with, 3 floors of exhibits that are anywhere from dinosaurs and space and healthcare, that kind of stuff. So there's some South Dakota job, workforce development almost at that point. And then you have the Visual Arts Center, which is our art museum, which features regional artists, local artists, some national artists. So we've got just kind of everything just kind of compacted into our building.
Well, not even compacted, but in so many ways, so many things have grown too. And it's been fun to see that.
Yeah.
And just, how important it is to our city.
Yeah.
Because it draws from so far away. Where are some of these vendors coming from?
So I've got vendors that come all the way from like Colorado, Oklahoma, Wyoming. I'd say the majority are from, South Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska. But I've got 12 different states represented in our vendors. So it's a range. And some of them come up like this. It's a one-day festival. So they drive up, they start setting up at 2 a.m, some of them. And then they pack up and go home. Yeah. They probably sleep in there somewhere, but maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, it's a really fun day. Yeah. And like I said, we start at 2 a.m. We've got some pavilion staff on site kind of helping everybody get figured out. But we have vendors that show up that early. We close down the streets. Everybody sets up starting in the dark. And it's just, it's one of those days that's just all hands on deck. Yeah. And somebody's there all the time. Like there's just different departments represented, and it's just such a cool team effort. And you mentioned earlier that if you're a vendor, can't get in anymore. You had to cut the time and number and so forth. But need volunteers yet for anything? I think our volunteer needs are filled. Good, because there's so often that we do depend on a lot of volunteers for this in a lot of different ways. So. And you take care of them too, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Their water is free. Snacks. Yeah, lots of snacks. Oh, no kidding. Yeah, because there have been some times where it's been a little toasty on that day. Yes. I recall wearing a tuxedo at one time. So, and it was about 100. So, yeah, all kinds. It looks like this year's going to be a hot one too, with the way things have been. Oh, so true. But going back when you were talking about the different programs and so forth, and DAPA is one that is just growing leaps and bounds. Yeah. Wow. And not just in terms of the number that they have participating or the number of things they do now, but the level at which they do those. And a lot of great mentoring that takes place with that too. Yes, for sure. Yeah, and we go to, I think we missed one earlier this year, but we try to hit every DAPA show that we can. And, they're great. Yeah, and let's talk about the live and local that's going on a little bit. In terms of that's just another new program that has started up, and so that apparently drew a lot more than just the people that we're going to see performing. Yeah. Because you said some of the entertainment for this show. Yeah. I think it was more than they ever expected. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing. Just finding a way to probably going to grow more people involved. Yeah, absolutely. What do you tell people that maybe aren't huge fans of the Washington Pavilion as to why they should be? We have something for everybody. Yeah. You may not think it's for you, but if you walk in the door, you're going to find something that you can appreciate. Very true. Maybe you don't think you like art, but if you walk in the galleries, you're not going to find the art that you're thinking of. It's all over the place, and think outside the box. And, we also have our brand new planetarium opening. Oh, that's right. This weekend. Ooh. I suppose it will already be open by the time this is released. No, this is coming out this Thursday. Oh, okay. So we're talking ahead to next weekend. So this weekend will be good. Opening Friday. Awesome. And I haven't seen much of a preview, but I did see a little bit. It's incredible. And I just heard from a coworker on my calendar who got a preview of one of the films and just said it's mind blowing. Oh. The technology is just amazing. Yeah, because the last time I was at a planetarium was 35 years ago. Yeah. Probably changed a little bit in that time then. Yeah, but it's super cool. So that's look forward to something new. Yeah. Very cool. And, so many organizations and so forth are starting to take advantage of it as well. The Washington Pavilion, thinking of the Arts Collective. Yes. They just had a big show there this past weekend, or the weekend before that, I think about it. I get them all mixed up anymore. But, so new people are coming in all the time.
And that's got to make everybody at the pavilion smile.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we've got next Saturday, make it the 9th?
The 9th.
9th.
Yes.
9/9. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And the times of the show again?
Opens at 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Goes till 5 p.m.
Okay.
On the streets surrounding the Washington Pavilion.
Yeah, and you're going to find visual arts of all kinds.
Visual arts of all kinds.
Yeah. And there's also going to be some entertainment.
Beer
garden.
There's a food court.
An actual food court?
Yes. We've got...
talking my language.
11 food trucks. Vendors.
Yeah.
They may not all be trucks, but 11 food vendors in our food court this year. Lots of variety. Should be really great. We've got, kettle corn, popcorn, ice cream.
It's like my one time of the year.
All kinds of good stuff. But yeah, there's fine art. There's also craft and folk art. So kind of a wide range of price points and styles. So again, just like there's something for everybody inside, there's something for everyone at Sidewalk Arts Festival. Absolutely.
Fantastic. We look forward to it. All right. Catherine, I know that your husband has been on this program a few times, so you might be familiar with the last two questions.
That I
am. Well, he's answered them before.
Okay.
But I want to see how yours compare to his. So
feels like a test.
Sometimes how you answer question number one eliminates the need for the second question.
Okay.
But when you're not part of the arts and entertainment community, what do you like to be entertained by?
Ooh. Movies.
Okay.
And probably, I listen to a lot of podcasts. So I haven't been on very many, but I listen to a lot.
Well, that's a good thing.
And like TV.
Mm-hmm. Have a go-to right now on the television set?
I am currently watching Sweet Magnolias on Netflix.
Yeah, my wife watches that.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we've been binge watching Blacklist.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Well, it's over and done with on NBC. It was on 11 seasons, I think. 10 or 11 seasons.
Okay.
And we started on, and the first one is like, how did we never watch this thing? That's 218 episodes we got to go through.
Oh, goodness.
So
it's a
we're going to be sitting for a while, that's for sure. All right. So then the other question, the follow-up is, do you have any other hobbies?
Yeah.
Such as?
I am a seamstress. I don't know how you say it.
True.
Good way. But I sew, I knit, just kind of crafting in general.
Very good.
I hang out with my daughter, and we do all sorts of strange crafts. The other day we made a hamster kitty out of a pom-pom.
Okay.
Suggested by one of the shows she likes to watch. So we figured it out.
Are popsicle sticks still popular to make stuff out of?
I think they still exist.
Yeah. Boy, I remember being a kid and you'd go to a day thing, a day camp or whatever, and craft time come along. Here comes the popsicle sticks. And it's
there
like,
you go.
Couldn't I have that beforehand?
Yeah. I also really love baking.
So do you have a secret recipe of anything?
Not really.
Okay.
I just kind of search for whatever.
Yeah.
I mostly find recipes on Pinterest. But sometimes I don't have every ingredient, and so I improvise a little bit, which is fun.
Improvisation's a good thing too. Yeah. All right. Well, Catherine, thank you so much for telling us about everything that's coming up with the Sidewalk Arts Festival, September 9th here in Sioux Falls. Look forward to a great day. And we'll even start, crossing fingers, praying, doing whatever to see if Mother Nature will help out too.
I appreciate that.
All right. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails. Call for an appointment. 605-334-1463.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls. Conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics. Bisque, studio time, or finished custom items are available. Visit TJS Ceramics Studio in Sioux Falls today.
For him, every day is a holly day. Here again, Dave Holly.
Thanks again to all our guests, Kyrie Dunkley, Link West, and Katherine Hults. As always, the biggest thanks goes to you for listening, for those downloads, like I said, again, over 15,000, for sharing and following on social media, and the cups of coffee. If you haven't so far, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. For all 195 episodes, go online at davehollyhour.com. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Arts South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, my name is Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by TJS Ceramics Studio, Posh Boutique, The Sky and Tea, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. If you would like to contribute to the continued success of this podcast, simply buy Dave a cup of coffee. Go to davehollyhour.com and click on the coffee cup icon. Don't forget to stay up to date on the show by following on Instagram and Facebook. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.